first week I was here, they go, what is this TFR for 3,000 feet? I can't go down and see anything? That was ridiculous. So being a NASA scientist and pilot and wanting to fly for the NASA Average Imaging Spectrometer, for the USGS, and the NGA guys, the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, who are out here looking at the oil, they got me a Unified Command Post badge. It says NASA Aviation's Branch Director. So I immediately started flying under the TFR, in the TFR under the 199. So those guys got to know me so much. I'm NASA 84 Echo and the same old flight plan. I don't tell the sectors I'm in. So
you're known, you're in, you're good.
I am. I carry a very fancy big red badge. So every day since June, I'm flying 50 to 500 feet all over the place. So I have watched the dramatic surface ugliness change to cloudiness when they put the dispersant. One day, I do know what it looks like when they spray dispersant. This is indirect evidence, but I see one day you'll see the plumes and the streamers. The very next day, it's all turned kind of cloudy.
Yeah.
Then a day or two after that, it's bubbles.
You knew exactly what it was when you saw it.
Yeah.
Because it hadn't been reported to you, right?
Well, no, other than I heard May 26th, the EPA said you will not use that anymore. I'm going, well, then what is coming out at a 90-degree angle from the boats when they're moving this way, right? And what are all those C-130s doing out here every night? Has somebody got that on tape? And no, they wouldn't give me any tapes. So I just learned to see that what else would change it that quickly. Other than Hurricane Alex came through and changed things. But on a day-to-day basis when there was no significant weather...
Did it change things, Alex?
Oh, yeah.
Did it really?
Well, it messed up all the booms terribly and it pushed stuff to the shores. Before Alex, the chandeliers on the inland side, on the west side, were still pristine and white. And the Ile Dernier, the last islands west of Terrebonne Bay, were still beautiful. Hurricane Alex brought black tar balls, oil, some brown stuff right up under the shore, brought all the booms up. It tore apart all the booms. So after that, people like NGA, they weren't interested just in seeing the oil. They were interested in seeing, well, we're in charge of telling them to clean up the boom, and it's not being cleaned up. So we were tracking boom, we were tracking the Avarice, the imaging spectrometer for NASA, wanted to see what was happening to the coastal areas, the ecosystems. So we were tracking where vegetation was turning brown. That's an indirect way from the air, because the Avarice flies at 16,000 feet. And then they would confirm that with Avarice, because they get a signature for the residue, what the plant's doing, whether it's dead vegetation or just cyclic vegetation from the tides. There's a difference between being killed by oil and chemicals and just water loss. So they would check that with Avarice, and we'd fly over it to see what it looked like to us. So that's the only way I could be sure that I was pointing out chemically poisoned vegetation versus just tide cycling ag stuff. Or, even more importantly, in the beginning it was hard to know oil from windrows. And it was hard to know an oil water line from a front, convergence line, rip line, all those things. So, and it was a little difficult to know from, unless you're way down at 100 feet, whether you're looking at a patch of sargassum or whether you're looking at crude emulsion. Weathered, but still fairly fresh crude emulsion. They're the same color. So I spent a long time in the beginning, weeks actually, making sure I was looking at that. I didn't ever want to give anybody a false positive. As a result, I probably gave a lot of false negatives. I would take people, because when you fly out here, you immediately see all the black algae in the wetlands. And there is some scum and stuff.
I found that on the boat the other day, You just assume it's oil and it is not.
No, and you see the scum that, just comes from stagnant water. And you see the varying colors and dark shadows that come from increasingly shallow water and sediment. You see all that, and everybody who goes out there first goes, oh my God, it's right here. So I'm busy telling people, no, that's not. And they're looking at me like, thought you were taking us out here to show us oil. What is this? So I probably gave some false negatives. I just never wanted to give false positives.
Well, now you know, 4 months into it, you know exactly what you're looking at.
Yeah. And an interesting thing happened in Barataria Bay end of July when that tugboat hit that abandoned rig and it's spewing out oil. So I did an evening flight with a nice photographer, I mean, a very good photographer, skilled, nice, good, well, a skilled photographer.
Good person too. But
Yeah. I did a little 2-hour flight in the evening with a very skilled videographer. It was low on funds, so I really wanted to make it efficient for him. And I said, well, you know, if you don't care so much about BP oil, don't really have time to go to the source, I can take you to something that's really ugly right now. And we couldn't have gone during the day because they were so busy cleaning it up. They didn't want anybody messing in there unless you were directing someone. So this was like 5 in the afternoon. They're all gone home Saturday afternoon. I said, come on, Bo, I got something for you. And it is awesome footage, and I'm happy to share it with you. I can download it from my computer. But it shows this ring spewing off the oil. It shows Bay Jimmy, St. Denis Bay, just covered, just horrible. I had 40 steamers there for 3 or 4 days.
Well, I mean, good contrasting footage. We were just in Bay Jimmy yesterday. Was it yesterday?
It's cleaned up quite a bit.
Oh, yeah.
But that's fine. But I was, in addition to this videographer, I was flying a local fisherman who lives right on one of those bayous and has fished Bay Jimmy, St. Denis, for 30 years. And he's looking at that, and this grown man, this 230-pound man, is just practically breaking up, going, that's it. So that really is it for the local fishermen. That was apparently one of the most fertile areas for shrimp. The oyster beds, I can't imagine. I mean, there's been no okay to farm oysters again.
Right.
But you know, animals like that can't swim away, they'll be the canary in the gold mine.